Hello everyone, welcome back to MixFest TV. Hope you're having a great day. Back with some subscribers Q&A. If you haven't already, do me a favor and go watch my artist Bella Kelly's new video, Heartbreak Motel. Link is gonna be in the info box down below, and we also have a giveaway. We're giving away an audience interface for you just to share the video on social media. Again, link is gonna be in the info box. Let's go to the question. I got a female vocal where the fundamental is piercing. Dynamic EQ, suit saturation help, but I just can't tame this one. Do you have any technique that diffuses or softens a piercing tone instead of reducing it? Well, I suppose it's not the fundamental, because the fundamental is usually the lowest usable frequency on a source, but with female vocalists and singers, the problem is their power range and their tone is usually between 1 and 2K. And sometimes, depending on the voice, the timbre, and also the microphone you use, that range can be very, very piercing and overpowering, because many female vocalists, they have a pretty balanced spectrum when they sing at a low mid level, but when they go full power, that range has much more energy than everything else. That's the most common case, and I think it's what you're referring to. Now, for this, unfortunately, it's case by case based. You can never know what is going to work because voices are all different. The first thing that I will look at is the microphone used, which is of utmost importance with females. I've been through so many different microphones to find Bella's mic, right? From a $8,000 vintage Neumann to the SM7 and everything in between. It took me a while to find the one, but that changed everything and made the recordings and in turn the mixing not only so much more pleasant, but so much easier for me to mix with, way less processing than if I use any other mic with her. And if you're curious, her microphone is the Austrian Audio OC818. But let's say you can't change the mic, or they sent you this particular vocal to mix and you can't do anything about the recording. You basically are doing everything right, because a dynamic EQ is usually what we use for that. Suit is an amazing plugin to de-harsh material, although in this case it might not make that much of a difference, because suit is kind of for something else. It's more for brush, really brush high end, okay, than overpowering mid-range that is maybe too grainy or sandy, scratchy. I feel that's a microphone problem, and it's really, really hard to fix in post-production. My answer to that, unfortunately, would be Empirical Lab Fatso. I literally solved all these problems when it happened that I received these kind of vocals, like literally just by running them through the Fatso, and maybe do a little bit of EQ with the API. But the Fatso is like amazing for this. Between the saturation and the warm circuit, it can really de-harsh those kind of vocals. I actually used it successfully for that with samples, which are even worse, because usually I remember one specific song that I mixed, and there was this vocal sample that was already processed with effects on it, which makes it really hard to de-harsh and, you know, remove that harshness, that kind of glassy vibe in that mid-range. So unfortunately, that would be the first thing that I would try, because I know nine times out of 10 it just works. I just turn it on, set the saturation, set the threshold control, and you know, it's almost ready to go. But other than that, I would say try a dark tape emulator. Actually, IK Multimedia makes those 4 tape emulators that are really good, because they have quite some control over the tone, and when you can control the tone of a saturation and make it like darker, that usually helps you removing the harshness, but because it adds harmonic content while it's doing that, you don't take too much energy out of it. And another thing that you can try is to try to switch the energy. If it's in the 1K or 2K range, try to remove too much of that, either with a dynamic EQ or simple EQ or multiband saturation. To remove too much of that range, so it's like actually too dark, and then shift the energy by adding either EQ or saturation or both in a slightly higher range, because we are very sensitive to the 2 to 1K range, okay? That's the hell frequency, you know, and human beings are very sensitive to that range. It's called the hell frequency. It's like the frequency where baby cries, and we are so sensitive to that range because we needed to hear a baby cry from far away, right? So it actually, you need a little of that range for us to hear the voice and understand the lyrics and make it intelligible. While if you switch the energy to a slightly higher range, you get the air and the openness, but you don't get the piercing high mid range that it just drills in your brain. And again, it doesn't take a lot of that slightly higher range, so 10K, and also watch it because the S's and everything, so it's tricky, but 10K, 12K, sometimes even higher, to rebalance the overall tone of the vocal. You know, you remove too much, it gets a little darker, and then you switch the energy in a slightly higher range and you rebalance the tone of the vocal. Unfortunately, every time is different. Every vocal is different, and probably every section of the song is going to be different, because she sings maybe in a low mid range in the verses and then she bails in the choruses. So it's, you know, it's always a combination of different things, and the more experienced you are, the less time you waste trying things, because you know what is going to work, but you can't speed up experience. I hope this answered the question. Leave all your questions for the Q&A in the info box down below. If you liked the video, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And remember, if you really want to learn how to mix and master professionally, click the join button down here, become a MixBus TV member, and access the already big and always growing library of professional mixing and mastering courses, start to finish, on many different genres. Special videos, exclusive giveaways, and you also get mix consultations with me. Don't forget to go watch my artist Bella Kelly's new video, Heartbreak Motel. Leave a like, leave a comment, stay safe. See you next time.
Hands on my neck, hands grip my throat. Lift me up, man, take control. Heart is so gone.